right, so let's talk about Adobe Premiere Interface. So here you see I am on Learn. That is great if you want to go more in depth into this program, but we are going to want to toggle onto Home. Now you will see I have videos saved here that I've been working on, but you are going to want to create a new project. So this is pretty simple. Here you'll see we have our import, our edit. Once we actually get our footage in there, we'll get to that, and then we'll have export. So that being said, I have downloaded a couple of clips from the internet, from Pexels, for the body in motion, just to give you guys a brief idea. I'm going to select both of those. We're going to need to name our project something other than Untitled, because I have something else saved as Untitled and it won't let you save it. So we'll just call it Your Last Name Body in Motion. And sequence 1 is fine. As you work in larger projects, you may want to have different naming conventions, but for now, that's okay. You can also see over here that you can make that a bigger thumbnail so that you can see better. You can also look in the grid view, but I like to work in the list view. So that being said, let's go down here and we're going to click Create. And you will see that it has automatically imported both of these clips into the timeline. So let's just look over the interface as a whole real quick from a global view. This top area that is blank is going to be where your effect controls are. You're going to want to drill down on this and select effect controls. It will change it, and you will see why we want that in a moment. But let's first move down here, and you'll see this drills out to media browser as well as libraries. But I'm going to leave it on the project area. So if we import new clips, we can come over here and we can just drag these, drag this in here if we wanted to. I'm going to Command Z because it's the same clip, but you could also you can drag clips in there, so on and so forth. So that's really great. Over here, we have your timeline. Like Adobe Photoshop, you can toggle things on or off. You can lock them. So you could lock your audio if you had it. That's just super helpful to know. To the left, we have your tools panel. The tools you'll mostly be working with are selection, which are going to move things around, and the razor tool, which is hotkey C. Selection tools, hotkey V, razor tools, hotkey C. Those are going to be the two that you will use the most. You also have a type tool down here, which can be helpful. So let's just show you real quick using C and V. So cut, C, V, delete. You could then go back to V, move it over, but I'm going to undo that for now. So that's how you would use that. We'll get more into that later. Up here, we obviously have our viewport, as you can see, and then to the right is where we're going to have our graphics effects. So we are in Essentials Graphics. This is where it will kick to. Most likely you will want to be in Edit if you're using this type tool, and say you want to do something that says test. You can see here that if I select this and I come over here, I can change my typeface. Let's do something dramatic so we can just kind of see what we're working with. And you'll see that it changes. You can also make it larger. You can adjust the alignment. And then you'll see over here as well that our properties panel has popped up, which is really great. So we are on our text test. I'm going to drill down and open that up. You can also adjust it over here. And let's just say we want to change the opacity. You can manually adjust these numbers by putting something in like 50, 70, or you can drag your mouse to adjust it as well, if I can actually do that. So you'll see that opacity adjust there. So that's super helpful. Now that we've covered that, let's go over to effects. This is what you're going to be using. First, you're going to be applying video transitions. So drill down on video transitions and decide how you want to work with that. I am going to go with dissolve. I like a nice additive dissolve. And what we're going to do is I'm going to make this timeline a little bit bigger here so we can see as we edit. going to drag this over onto our video, and you'll see here that it is going to add additive dissolve. There's nothing before it, so it's black. So that's why it's black. Now, coming up here, I'm actually going to drill these down close because otherwise it gets a little messy. And if you hit the space bar, which is play, you'll see now, oh wow, okay, that works. So I'm going to delete this for now. One thing as you go, the more effects you add, you will want to render your sequence. So you can do that by sequence, render, into, out. We only have one on there, so hopefully it won't take too long. And you'll also see that it automatically plays and then turns your timeline from yellow to green. So I'm going to click back on our effect, and you can actually play around with when it starts, when it ends, so on and so forth. So that is super helpful. I'm going to move this timeline back out a bit. And you'll also want to add, say you cross dissolve, you can drag that over here. Okay, that's fine. Sometimes you'll get some kind of buggy message. And you'll see that cross dissolves. So again, if you want to have a little more control over that, you'll click on that. That'll be in your properties panel. You can do start it cut, end it cut, so on and so forth. So see how it turned yellow? That just means it needs to be rendered. I would also suggest saving as you go. So just good practice to get into, file save, so that if your computer crashes, you're able to recover your files. Once we've got our video transitions, you will also want to make sure that you have good color correction. So if you can't find it, let's say, we can come up here and we can go to color correction. And the one I want actually is Lumetri presets. That's the ones I like, but there's other ones as well. It should be, oh, well, that is why it's in here. So let's say we're going to Lumetri color. I'm going to bring it over to this whole clip. I'm going to drag it on, and now you'll see it's given me these options here. You'll see that you are in Lumetri color and that you have basic correction, creative curves, and you can just kind of play around with it. I'm actually going to come into creative, and you can do these by inputting a number, or you can just kind of drag your mouse and see if it is something you like. It will show in the viewport, which is super helpful. So you're really just going to be using color correction as well as transitions for this project. You can also add some text as well. In whichever way you see fit, you can do it over here. Or you can go into, I believe, Essentials, Graphics. I would just, for now, make it easy. Do it with the type tool. But that's really going to be the main thing you're doing for this project. Lastly is going to be, how do we export it? So once this is all rendered, you're going to go sequence, render into, out. I'm not going to do it because it'll take a little while now. You're going to come over to export. You're going to last name, body in motion. So you're going to make sure that you know which folder it's saving to, and then you are going to select H.264, which automatically exports as an MP4. You're going to make sure the range is selected to entire source, and then you are going to export. Make sure to submit your video file as a link for YouTube. It's easier for me to see than having to download them all individually. And then now you can actually even just, if you had a YouTube channel that was connected, toggle this on and just upload it. But we won't get into these more advanced options. The basic motion, or the basic idea of it, is file name, desktop file, H.264, export, and you should be good to go. Have fun with this project, and I will see you all later.